ridiculed or something for, say I go out for a night or whatever, like I don't want my phone being blown up, like, oh my God, you're out cheating, like, you know, like insecurity type issues.
Let me ask you, the man that you're looking for, is he, do you think the man that you're looking for is going to look for the things that you want as well? Like a family, a long-term stability situation?
I'm not necessarily looking to build a family at the moment.
Okay.
I'm not really looking into relationships either. So, I mean.
So, well, at what age are you going to start thinking about that?
Haven't thought about that yet.
And you're 23?
Mm-hmm.
23? Okay. So you're going to spend your best years, your most fertile years, the years where you're going to be at the highest value, and you're going to be kind of wasting them?
I don't think I'm wasting them.
So let's put it this way. If you keep racking up more bodies, you keep having pictures of you at the club more often, you keep making more money, you're going to try to look for a man that wants the exact opposite, because I'm assuming you're probably going to want a guy that is of high value, right?
I mean, it depends on what your description of high value would be.
So how would you categorize it?
Honestly, I'm more of a personable person. I love someone that I can connect with on more of a spiritual manner, and in a sense.
Okay.
So.
But are you going to want him to lead you, or do you want it to be 50-50?
I don't want it to be 50-50, but like a 50-40 or 60-40 would be acceptable.
Okay. Well, the thing that, because I think these women are, they said they're virgins, right? And I think that's the absolute best thing that a woman can do. If she restricts herself and saves herself, and they start making good decisions from the very beginning, where I do less to be more attractive, I think that's the absolute best thing you can do. And one thing that I wish my family, because we grew up pretty liberal in my household, one thing I wish my family would have told me is make good decisions. Because I was making bad decisions, but with good intentions. So we can have good intentions. We want to have good lives, but we make bad decisions.
I mean, there's many circumstances where purity isn't necessarily
valued.
Not valued, but it's not a thing anymore, and it's not because of your own decisions that you've made. So.
Right. And do you think we live in a better society now because of that?
I mean,
if we look at the stats, 26% of women are on antipsychotics, antidepressants, anxiety meds. 26% of women, where we have pushed this liberation movement of feminism. So we've given you ladies more rights, quote unquote. We've given you more freedom. And you guys have over double the rate of antipsychotics than men.
It's made women unhappy.
I'm not on them, so.
Most women.
I'm not saying you are.
More women are unhappy now than they were when less women were working.
And the reason I highlight that is because you're kind of appealing to the world. Like, the world does this, or this is our current culture, therefore this is okay. But I'm asking you, do you want to live the way the results are showing?
I don't know if that has to do exactly women are on meds more. I mean, they've also pushed more meds on us,
Right.
I'm on meds, and I've been trying to get off of them, but it's you go to a psychiatrist,
Right.
And I don't know if
more women go to therapy.
I don't know if
they've actually done studies on the happiness, though.
Yeah, there was
since more women go to therapy, have entered the workforce, women have become unhappier than they were in the 1950s.
It was one of the biggest studies.
I feel like with the dynamic and how men are nowadays as well, there is a lot of aggression behind certain things. So I don't know. I feel like therapy and things like that could benefit a lot of people as well.
I've worked in treatment. I know that women are more open to being in therapy and taking meds than men that think that they can handle things on their own and do that.
Do you know why that is, though?
Because women are more open and in tune with their emotions.
You can say open. That's a euphemism for propagandized. They're more propagandized. That's why they make up a huge % of the marketplace. So
in tune with emotions.
Women that have mental issues, they're more open to being okay, I'm going to go to a therapist, meaning they have more opportunities to go see someone that's going to prescribe the meds than men who are just going to go out and, let's say the guy is bipolar. They're going to go out and go with these manic episodes rather than a woman. So you can't direct.
No, but here's the problem. When these women are going to the therapist, are they going to male therapists or female therapists?
I have a female therapist.
I've had both.
Okay, but generally, do you think it's more women or men that are the therapists? Right. So now women are taking advice from other women through therapy.
Who are just as unhappy as they
are just as unhappy, and they're going to push the same exact propaganda that got them there in the first place.
Well, that's the thing, is I think anytime that you make a decision and you're going to someone else, even a doctor, to rely on them to make a decision for you. Yeah, exactly. I think having your own discernment is really important.
But people don't have discernment anymore. We have had debates, but it's one of the things that I talk about with when people say I trust the science, they don't care about the science. They don't look at the studies. They care about what the experts told them. Right. So when we say that women we act like they're analyzing all the medicine, they're checking, make sure everything, the prescription's good. They're not. You guys just follow blindly. And this is because women are easily propaganda. That's why when Kamala was running, her number one message was reproductive rights. Because she knows that this appeals to your emotion, and women want to follow that movement because they feel liberated from it.
Yeah, I just think it's hard to like put two things that are so like not I mean, that's not true. They could have some correlation, but at the same time, like I said, people are open, and not everything is a direct result of the other thing.
Would you say that people should go to like something religious for therapy instead?
No. No.
Right.
I think I say finding God and being spiritual or whatever helps you. I think they could go hand in hand. I like practice Judaism to a certain extent, and I also see a therapist. I've worked in treatment. I've been in treatment, and I've been on meds. I've been off of meds.
Can I ask you, if you don't want to share, obviously, but what kind of meds are you on?
Currently just got off of a few meds. Right now I'm on, pain meds. I have a lot of chronic pain, but I also take an anti-anxiety med.
Okay.
Not like Xanax, but one that I take in morning and at night, and medication to help me sleep.
How long have you been taking the anxiety one?
Around 3 years.
Okay, and are you going to continue taking that for another 20 years?
No, I'm currently working to get
To
off,
get off of
all
it?
of my
Okay.
meds right now, but
Well, I think this is
I think
important
I'm in a
because
better
we would
place.
agree, we would find common ground that the secular society that we live in, they do push meds like crazy. I mean, when I was 18, I had so much anxiety. I had gotten evicted from my apartment. I was like 12 grand in debt, but I was under so much stress trying to start my business. And I went to the doctor and they prescribed me, I think it was Adderall or like something for focusing. I forgot what it was. And she didn't care to dig in deep and actually understand the core of the problem. If I would have gone on those meds, I would have been like 3 years now, right? Now I'm going to work on a cycle to get off of them. So we live in this society where we have to be very careful with who we trust and why we trust them. Because they throw out these buzzwords, trust the expert, trust the people that are, doing the science.
and then they learned it from someone else.
And they learn it, then it always comes back to who did they learn it from?
Yeah.
I
You have
think
to assess
another
that.
thing is that there is a double standard with men and women. See, me and my brother, we would do the same things. I'll use that as an example. My parents would be like, okay, like, you're a female, like, you're gonna come home at a certain time, or like, oh, he's acting out, but that's just what a guy would do, and then I'm a woman, so I'd go to therapy. And I think that there's like a double standard, and I'm all for, like, I'm not like the big Kamala supporter. I don't really like her, but there is that, like, with men and women, where there's like different standards, like, you're gonna come home at a certain time, or you're not allowed to do this. Like, you see a woman drinking beer, you're like, that's a little, but you see a guy drinking beer and it's like, oh, it's just like a guy drinking beers.
Yeah.
So there's a double standard with that. See, me and my brother, one of us would be doing something, but I'd get more, not in trouble, but I'd need more help because it's not a feminine thing to do.
You're held to a higher standard, right, in some ways?
Yeah, you said it exactly.
Yeah.
I was looking for that. But so therefore I went to therapy. He didn't. I got meds. He didn't.
So we have a lack of masculinity. That's the problem that we have. And
a lack of what?
A lack of masculinity. And then this leads to a lack of identity. So do you ever see people that are trying to act a way that you can tell they're not genuine? It's because they lack an identity, right? And that identity comes because they weren't given good values and good virtues when they were growing up. So with men now, when you say women are going through therapy, it's because men don't have the leadership capabilities to now lead themselves. And for me, the number one rule that I found is that I'm the happiest in my life when I'm more masculine. So the more I strive away from my masculinity, the more depressed I am, anxiety. I don't have that anymore because I got rid of that. When you change your mindset on that, but the problem with that is with the society, through the stigmatization that we push through the propaganda, men are obviously pushed now to seek therapy, to go to college, to lower their standards. They have these hashtags.
You see men are pushed to go to college?
Yeah, they're pushed. They're pushed through all these. Women obviously are pushed through college. That's why it's like a 60-40% rate on that. But men are taught to be less masculine, which is why we have these problems. So now you, instead of seeking your man for guidance, which is my man should lead me, he should give me my therapy that I need, you're going to someone external that knows nothing about you nor cares about you.
Well, I was going through some like drug addiction stuff. That's why I went to therapy at a younger age and worked in treatment. That's what I meant by that. So, there's a lot of depressed people, but what man do you think I should be going to? Like my father, you mean?
Yeah, your father. Your father would be, if you don't have a husband, your father would be ideal, but do you have a good relationship with your father?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Great. I think he's watching, so shout out.
Okay, good. So, can I ask you, like, between you and your father, what do you think led you to get into drug problems to begin with?
Wrong crowd.
Okay.
I grew up in a great family. My parents are still together.
Okay.
I have my mom's my best friend, like, you know, great relationship. And I think that I took that for granted at the time, and I went with the wrong crowd, and it was all a product of myself going with the wrong people. But I'm not saying my dad can't help. I call him for advice.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the time, I don't think my dad was like, you know, I don't think he wants to hear about his daughter doing drugs and like, hanging out with the wrong crowd. You know, like he'd be there for me if I told him, but I mean, he wouldn't want to hear it. And he probably would give me more of like the